I think we're live. So welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in just a minute. I wanted to share a poll that I put out on LinkedIn. And I can't believe the response I got on this one poll here. Like, this is like shocking here. So, by the way, if you can see my screen, has COVID and all of its impact accelerated human progress? Like, wow. So, like 48% says yes, definitely. So, like, I wonder, is a virus a good thing? Is a virus a thing that actually helps humans evolve? Shocking to even consider this, right? So, anyway, welcome. Welcome. We're just sharing a poll that we have here on LinkedIn. We're going to get started in just a minute. If you can see my screen here and you're watching here on Zoom or on LinkedIn, if you don't mind, just type in the comments, say okay. Just type in okay if you can see my screen. If you can see me, that would be great. I'm going to change my background here so you can probably see me in my room with my telescope behind me. Just type in the comments. Let's just make sure I can see comments. There it is. Some folks are joining. Hello, Mike. Kevin Mullinex. Hello, Aaron. Hello, Chuck. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm just looking for the chat. There it is, chat. Okay, great. Hello, Vasir, Denise, Kevin. Welcome. So we're going to get started in just a minute. This is a masterclass on just doing a check on your sales stack to see, is it 2022 ready, and to offer the 5 shifts, and really the 5 shifts that you need to make in order to really attract your ideal customers, to align your team, and I would say double or even triple your revenue for 2022. So welcome. Let me put a poll up on the screen. Where is my polls? Oh, did I lose my polls? Let's see here. Polls, welcome, welcome. I have too many windows open here. Polls, yeah. So type in the comments if you can, really what business you're in. Type in the comments, and let's launch this poll. Is your sales stack ready right now to crush 2022? If it is, does it need some work? Is it ready to rock? We don't need no stinking badges. We don't need a sales deck. We don't need a website. Is it a disaster? Just click on the poll here. We're going to share the results. So welcome. Let's share the results here. So great. I'm glad you folks are here, because my promise to you is to give you some actionable things to take to fix your sales stack for 2022. Let me stop sharing that. Let me ask another question here. What is the most important marketing asset that you have that actually results in sales? What is the most important marketing asset that you have that actually results in sales? We're going to be speaking about all your marketing assets and how they all tie together with a singular story today with these 5 shifts. But it's important to consider, is it your sales presentation, your demo, your white paper? I'm going to end the poll here in just a second. All right, and let's share the results. So yes, I'm looking at the results here. Your homepage, yes, your sales presentation, your demo, your white paper, these are all critical marketing assets, and they should be working in concert with each other. So thanks for joining. If you can, just type in the comments here, what business are you in? So that folks here who are also participating can see who you are and what business you're in. And also type in the comments, who is your ideal customer? And this is critical to think about, to be clear on, if we're going to be talking today about revitalizing, revamping your sales stack. The character, the persona you need to keep in mind is your ideal customer. And you can say, oh, we have so many different types of customers. It's true, but you can't market that way. You have to market in a way that provides a singular story, a singular message, a singular value story that resonates with everybody, at least at the top level, top of the funnel. Once you get to your proposal, of course, you can tailor that. But type in the comments who your ideal customer is, Adam, B2B enterprise SaaS, automotive, aerospace manufacturers, and tier one suppliers. Thank you, Adam. Kevin, enterprise high-tech security sales marketing. Hello, Kevin. We met years ago on a beach. Good to see you here. Denise, hey man, B2B cloud security, highly regulated large enterprises. Great. And you sell to CSOs, CISOs. Terrific. All right, so behind me here, you should see the tuba. If you can see the tuba, just type in tuba in the comments so I can make sure you can see it. All right, great. So this is sadly what most marketing and most sales presentations, most homepages are like. It's just making a bigger noise, talking about how great your product is, how seamless it is, it integrates with everything. It's the be it end all. But just type in the comments, does this work? Does this kind of marketing really work for you? Yes or no, maybe. Type in the comments here. Does it work? Okay. And I'm going to put up a poll here. Who gets to say that your solution is innovative or revolutionary or breakthrough? Who really gets to say that? Do you get to say that on your homepage or in your sales deck? You know, a lot of you here probably today might actually say, like in your sales deck or on your homepage, that it's innovative. But do you really get to say that? Or do your customers do? Or does your marketing team? They probably do say how it's innovative. After all, your marketing team is paid to say how great your product is. I mean, if they're not doing marketing and promoting, then what are they doing? I'm being totally sarcastic right now, totally facetious. It doesn't work. So let me end the poll here and share the results. Yes, you all answered correctly. Your customers do. But if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with me, I'm sure many of you are using that language today in your story, in your sales stack. We're going to be talking about that today. All right. So yeah, Denise, your parents, LOL. All right. So we talked about your most marketing asset is most important, your business, what business you're in. Type in that comments here if you haven't already. Hello, Mike Kennedy. Great to see you here again. Who is your ideal customer? If you haven't already, type in that comments, please do. As I'm talking about what this masterclass is about and who is this for, make sure that you're not wasting your time. So time is the only thing that we have. So who is this for? This is for CEOs who recognize that their marketing is not working. The sales stack needs some work. You've got a sense that your current story isn't really resonating with your ideal customer, and who you're willing to make changes to your current sales stack. And look, you've got about 30 days or so before 2022. And I think this masterclass is for folks that actually want to take action at the end of this for yourself. And I'll be asking you to come off of mute in a short while to tell me and tell the group here what is the one thing that your takeaway is from this masterclass that you are actually going to implement in your sales stack. So take some notes if you want, take some screenshots. I'd love to hear from you, and we're going to get into that session at the end. So if this is not for folks that aren't the owner of the business or just want to put lipstick on your marketing, and I think you know what I mean by that, or can't or don't want to invest in sales enablement. Now, notice I'm calling marketing sales enablement because I believe marketing is dead. It died a long time ago. And the new marketing is sales enablement. I'll be talking more about what I mean by that. So my promise to you in this masterclass is to talk about these 5 shifts. All of them are going to help to simplify your sales message in a complicated selling environment, how to facilitate unforgettable sales conversations they will never forget without spending $1 gazillion on slides, how to stand out in a noisy market where you've got a lot of competition, how to create the most compelling business story. Welcome, by the way, if you're just coming in here. Type in the comments who your ideal customer is and what business you're in so we can get a sense. And we're also going to be talking about how to attract your ideal customers with an essential story. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is not for everybody. This is for folks who really are investing in their business, own their business. So is this you? Have you read a lot of these wonderful books like This is Marketing, Seth Godin, Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand, fantastic books. Gap Selling, probably the best sales book I have read. Have you read a lot of these books, or maybe all of them, but have you struggled to actually implement these ideas tangibly on your homepage, in your sales presentation, and in your sales messaging? If so, you're in the right place. Have you a sales deck that looks similar to this with white backgrounds and page numbers with lots of text on it? It seems to be things that you send out to people like, hey, Joe, attached is a great presentation that steps you through our business. I look forward to hearing from you, but you hear nothing in response. Have you done that, then you're in the right place in this masterclass today. Have you seen enormous change in technology, even in cybersecurity and on the web in the last 20 years, what even a website looks like or a cell phone, but yet the technology or the way that you're presenting your solution has not really changed. The playbook that you're using has not really changed. Have you a website or a homepage or a sales deck that's using language like this? I'm just going to read this aloud with my announcer voice. Software platform that drives transparent, data-driven decisions, blah, blah, blah. Means nothing to nobody. Nobody cares about this. All right. If you are using language like this, have you language like this, you're in the right place, because we're going to talk about a better way, a very simple way to change things around. So this kind of language bores customers to death. In fact, they don't even read it and they can't tell you apart from your competition. Here's another one: creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high reliability. What does this even mean? What does it mean? Nothing. It means nothing. This is coming from marketing BS that we all know doesn't work anymore, yet most of us are still using that kind of language. Have you been spending a lot of money on really cool graphics or cool website design that really has not resulted in sales? If you have done that, you're in the right place in this masterclass. If every deal is complex, every customer is unique, every value proposition is customized, every deployment needs configuration, every deal that you're selling to, you're often losing to, you know what, we can just hang on to the way that we're doing things today. Status quo, you're in the right place in this masterclass, because you're probably thinking to yourself, how could our sales messaging be so simple in a complicated sale? We're going to be talking about this. Do you have people showing up, ideal customers showing up to your Zoom meetings, your demos, and even after 20 or 30 minutes, they're asking questions like, what is it that you're selling again? Like, how does this work? And like, how are we supposed to use this? If you're hearing this, you're in the right place. If you're often thinking to yourself, like, secretly, if they only knew what we can offer, they only knew how powerful our solution is. If you're thinking that to yourself, then you're in the right place, because they don't know. In fact, they can't tell you apart from your competitors, and the competitors, them out there in the front, that old guy, and I say old guy because I'm an old guy who probably can't run faster than him. That old guy out in front represents your competitor that probably doesn't have as innovative as a solution set as you have, yet for some reason they're out in front and they're winning. If that's you, you're in the right place to talk about this. And if that's not you, you can certainly hang up and leave. But if it is you, please stay. Salespeople, if you've got people you're relying on to help you close deals, and they're singing different songs, perhaps one salesperson is talking about you're a services company, one we're a technology company, they're not on the same page. If you're seeing your pipeline increase, but your closed deals either stagnated or going down, you're in the right place. And that's because the bigger question that you really have to ask yourself is, what happens if nothing happens? So you read all those great books, from Gap Selling to This Is Marketing, but nothing has happened. The big shifts that need to take place in your sales stack hasn't happened. So that's really the most important question you should ask yourselves: what happens if nothing happens after this masterclass? The real problem, and I think that the fundamental perspective shift here, is that you haven't made this fundamental perspective shift in your marketing. You're still seeing your solution as the thing that you're selling, but it isn't. And we're going to talk about why. But once you make these shifts, you'll have complete confidence in the money that you're spending. Every dollar you're spending on marketing, you'll know that you're getting it back. You're going to see at least double close rate, because your customers are going to show up to your demos or to your meetings, and they're going to really understand the value even before they see your sales presentation. Your leadership and sales team will be aligned. Your Zoom meetings and presentations will be unforgettable. They will not forget them. And you'll retap the joy of why you started this business that you're in the first place. Big promise, I know, but that is what we're going to deliver here in this masterclass. So welcome. If you're just joining, Aaron, it looks like you had a jump. No problem. Real quick about who I am. I have sold, I'm the CEO of Pitch Kitchen, and I've sold millions of dollars of enterprise software and solutions over the years. And I remember working for a company, and the sales deck that I got to sell with was full of like that stuff that I'm talking about, logos and how great we are, but it wasn't working to actually sell complex, 8-figure deals, multi-year deals, 19 people over 6 months. It was not helping having the right conversations. I started designing my own sales decks where there were basically questions and very simple diagrams that helped me have what I realized was the right conversations in the sales process. And I've identified the 12 conversations that need to happen in a sales complex sale, that you either have them and win the deal, or you miss one or two and you lose the deal. So I saw the patterns that work, the patterns that don't work. And then I started a side hustle designing these really great sales presentations that I started to see a pattern of what works and what doesn't work. So I've worked on more than 2,000 sales presentations. So that's where I'm coming from here. And I've trained a lot of salespeople on the 12 conversations. So by the way, we're all here on LinkedIn. This is a LinkedIn event. So I don't know if you know this, but on LinkedIn, you can actually give people like star ratings, like Uber drivers. So I'm grateful to get some star ratings from some of the customers that have implemented these 5 shifts. And so you can do that too yourself, by the way. You could get ratings for your product or solution. Just me personally, I am a father of 3 children, but my most recent baby was born just 3 months ago. His name is Henry. They're in my arms. My daughter is in college, Grace, and my son is there. He's also in college in New York, and my wife there is in the bottom. So that's my background personally. And I realize post-COVID, I think it's more important than ever, especially in the Zoom virtual environment, as well, to just really be human with each other as well. In fact, the 12 conversations we're going to be talking about today that make up your sales stack, there's a 13th conversation that isn't even on there, but actually is probably the most important, which is the trust and rapport. Anyway, we'll talk about that more later. So there's a 5-part recipe that you need to really be concocting, using in a certain order when you are building your sales stack and looking at your sales stack. We're going to be going through that right now. But before we do, I want to launch a poll. What is your homepage in love with? What is your homepage in love with? What does love have to do with it? So you see a poll on your screen. If you see that, you should see it in the Zoom. Folks here that are on Zoom, not LinkedIn. Do you see that? What is your homepage in love with? Your solution? Your customer's problem? What has love got to do with it? You see those options? I'm not seeing anyone vote. Folks are here, right? I think you guys are.
Greg, I got an error message when I voted.
Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. All right, I guess that didn't work. So basically, let me share the results. You're probably not seeing any results, but thank you for that. We're going to be talking about too many B2B sales decks and sales presentations and websites are in love with their own solution, and as opposed to in love with their customer's problem. And so we're going to be talking about that in a minute. So the first part of the 5-part recipe is to lead a rebellion. So if you consider what's on your homepage now, what's in your sales stack, are you espousing any kind of contrary view of the world, or are you leading some kind of rally to a better way of doing things? And it shouldn't just be a rally towards buying your product. It should be a rally to the outcomes that your product yields. If that makes sense, just type in the comments, makes sense. I want to make sure I didn't lose you. So what are you rebelling against? Do you sell an innovation that you believe in? If it is an innovation means it's something that is breakthrough, that it does something, that it solves a problem in a unique way. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. And I appreciate, Andy, you being here. You're like, you've been to these master classes before, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. But I'm going to cover a lot of the same ground for some other folks that have not been here. So your real competitor is your customer's fear of change. And you should be rebelling against the status quo. And Simon Sinek, who I absolutely love, he says, in order to stand out, we have to know what we stand for. So what do you stand for? Udi Leder says, being polarizing is great for business. So what is your polaristic view? How are you telling the story about what your customers should be rebelling against? And this ties into the idea of what you're really selling is not your software. It's a noun. You're really selling what your software does, the verb around your solution. You're really selling a future state that your customers are trying to get to, and your solution is the stop along their journey to get from where they are today to where they want to go. So too many homepages, and if you think about your sales presentation right now, what are you selling in your sales deck? Are you selling your solution, or are you selling the future state and your understanding of your customer's current state? So look at some 3 or 4 word rebellions here that are wildly successful. Trust your source is from the Wall Street Journal, 3 words. That is a rebellion against other sources of news that are not trustworthy. Just do it. Nike's 3-word story. It appeals to people's desire not just to buy athletic wear, but to be the best that they can be physically. Donald Trump's Make America Great Again. Not a fan, but those 4 words arguably got the man elected president. Start with why. Simon Sinek. That's the recipe for what the future state that he wants anyone creating a brand will appreciate. Partner with patience. So you see it, thrive with purpose. I think that's what was it? Charles Schwab. I think it's own your tomorrow. All of these start with a verb. And I'm pointing this out to you because maybe in the comments, if you know what your 3 or 4 word story is that you're calling your people to rebel against, or to create, to get to a promised land state, type that in the comments. We'd love to see. This is hard to do, to come up with, but this is important to do. This is the first step of 5, I'd say 5-part recipe, is come up with your hashtag. I believe every business should have a hashtag that doesn't just promote their product, but promotes the future state that their product or service takes their customers in. So I want to point this out too. Andy Raskin, fantastic writer, has also described 2 different types of positioning. And I like the second one, this discrete positioning. This is something that he speaks about often. Definitely follow him on LinkedIn, where unlike the left side, relative positioning is where you're just saying your product or service, your solution is better than the rest. And your sales pitch, what's in your sales deck and on your homepage, are reasons why it's better. Another way to play this is what he calls discrete positioning, which is, we're not even competing with those other companies because those other solutions are solving a problem that that's in a world that doesn't exist anymore. The world has changed. And if the companies that are winning are playing this new game that our product helps you win at. So this is a completely different way to have positioning. You're not just selling a better minivan. You're actually selling a completely different category. This is not for everybody, but this is one approach to rebelling against the status quo. You could actually take this discrete positioning. So type in the comments here, where are you trying to take your people? So this might look like we are taking our customers to a place where. Type this in the comments if you're here watching. This is a masterclass. we take our customers, or we envision our customers live in a world where what happens? What does their world look like that your product takes them to? If you're creating a rebellion, leading this rebellion with your innovation, you believe in, it really is going to help your customers succeed, you should be absolutely clear on where this promised land is that you're taking your people to. If that makes sense, type in the comments, makes sense. And also, if you're brave enough, type in the comments where you are taking your people. Our customers live in a world where our customers are able to type in the comments there. That is the promised land. What is your rally cry in 3 or 4 words? Feel free to type this in the comments. If you don't know, this is kind of like your homework assignment between now and Christmas. Is what is your rally cry? Where it starts with a verb. It's create, it's do, it's bring. It's always with a verb. Where you're calling, it could be a hashtag, could be just do it. That's for Nike. But for you, in 3 or 4 words, what are you describing that is the action that your customers need to take to be better, to evolve, to transform, to get to that place that your product, your solution takes them to? Kevin Mullinex, hello, Kevin. Make it happen. So yes, I like that, but it's too vague. It's like make it happen. That could apply just as much to a fitness trainer as it could a cybersecurity company. So the idea is your rally cry should be very specific, like the Wall Street Journal was know your source. Very specific about the trusted news and trusted information to make better business decisions. It's fabulous. Know your source. So your 3-word rally cry speaks to the goals that your ideal customers have. So great. This is the first of 5 that we're going to be covering today. Yeah, it worked for Nike. Thanks, Mike. And thanks for being here too, Mike. I appreciate you. Old way and new way. So this is something that you're going to want to contrast. Once you're clear about where you're taking your people, the outcomes that your product, your solution creates, you're going to want to contrast the old way of doing things and the outcomes of your current status quo with the new way that your solution or product gets your customers to. So notice this is not the solution that you're selling. It's the outcomes of the current state versus the outcomes of the future state. Very powerful to do this. To do this, like, for example, this is the anatomy of comparing the old world against the new world. You can do this in your slide presentation. Your slide deck could have a slide where you're comparing the impact of time, quality, or costs on the current, how the current outcomes are versus the outcomes with your solution. And this is a clear, stark contrast between that's old, this is the outcomes of the new. Medicine X, this is a customer that we had that really adopted this 5-part recipe. They are all about they're helping pharmaceutical companies and helping them make their patients partners. That is the rally cry that they have. And this worked wildly for them, wild success. So Kimberly Tableman, real quick, she's the CEO of Medicine X, leading a team of 12. They couldn't differentiate, failing to book new conversations, miss sales targets, frankly, embarrassed by the homepage. After they make your patients partners and align their sales team, confident about their marketing, and now it's closing on lots of big opportunities for 2022. All right, so if that makes sense, type in the comments, makes sense. We'll get on to the second part recipe here for your sales stack to crush your 2022 goals. All right, makes sense. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Denise. And remember, we're going to take you guys off of mute to see what's the one thing you want to adopt in your story, in your sales deck, on your website. Thomas, thank you. So start with the problem. I would say too many sales presentations and websites start with the solution. How great is it? How innovative is it? How revolutionary our solution is? And that doesn't work. If anyone knows why it doesn't work, type in the comments. Why do you think that doesn't work anymore? I'm curious to see your response. But it comes down to this. It comes down to empathy. if you can describe your customer's problem better than they can describe it themselves, they will automatically believe that you have the best solution. So this is really what Chris Voss from Never Split the Difference talks about, tactical empathy, where you are really describing on a slide the current state that your customer has. Is probably one of the most powerful slides that you can have, because it really points out to them that you understand their current world. And perhaps if you can describe their current world in so clear, they will actually pay attention to your solution in a way that you can never convince them of. So this is an example of the ReadyWorks website before. We'll show you after. Clearly, this is starting with the solution, not starting with the problem. This is a website that starts with the problem. And this is echoed on their sales presentation, on their white papers, and so forth. But patience before paper. So this strikes like a needle in the heart of the chief operating officer of a hospital, where their nurses are spending more time on paper than they are with patients. Clearly, this is the story. ReadyWorks is helping hospitals turn their paper checklist into what they're selling, which is smart forms. So smart forms is the solution. The transformation story is there. Turn your paper checklist into smart forms. It speaks to the transformation of where their customers are at today versus where they want to go. All that story is here, plus starting with the problem. Very, very powerful, extremely effective for ReadyWorks, and they're closing a lot of business as a result. Smart hospitals use smart forms. So this is promoting their solution, but it's promoting their solution in the context of what their customers want. They want to put patients before paper, and they want to become smart hospitals. That's like the holy grail for every hospital in the country right now. So it's really resonating. This is a slide in a slide deck. I just want to show to you of an example of a slide that uses, I would call the problem conversation, which is one of 12 conversations. And it's a problem conversations where you're describing the problems that your ideal customers typically have, and you're asking your person you're presenting to, do you have any of these challenges? Are any of these challenges your most important challenge? And if they say like no, then you're in the wrong room, like totally wrong, unqualified customer. They should be saying at least more than half of these are their challenges. And they should be saying, you know what? One of those I haven't even considered, but now that you show that, it is a really big challenge that we're having. So this is an example of a slide that promotes the conversations around problems. The flip side of that is the conversations around goals. This is, I would say, equally as important when you talk about the current state that your customers are in based on conversations you've had, and you essentially ask them, are these their goals? Because customers that you work with have typical goals like this. And this is an opportunity to help build rapport and help get your customer to open up about their goals. And you can ask, are these your goals? Do you have any of these goals? Which goals are most important to you? So definitely create a slide in your deck that is allowing you to have conversations around the problem, have conversations around their goals. Those are 2 slides. All right, if that makes sense, type in the comments, make sense. Thank you, Mike. People don't want the shiniest object, no, do they? No, they don't want the shiniest object. They want something that's going to help them solve their problem or help them achieve their goal. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate all good. All right. So the secret weapon, I would say, in a sales stack is that too many businesses look at, we'll hire a web developer to design our website, and then we'll hire like a graphic designer to dress up our sales deck. And, they cobble these things together. And because there's no common story that ties the 2 together, it's just a total waste of money. So I call this a breakthrough sales stack, because a breakthrough sales stack is one that has your message and your sales presentation and your homepage. I say your homepage, not your website, because if you think that people are visiting your website, you're just wrong. Look at your weblogs. 99% of the people that go to your site are going to your homepage, and then they're bouncing away. And the few that stay and convert to a meeting, those are the ones that will actually get into your sales process. So to focus on your homepage as a single experience from top to bottom that takes people through 9 out of the 12 conversations that your sales presentation will be is the most efficient way to build out your homepage. Anyway, a breakthrough sales stack is important because the solution-centered marketing doesn't work anymore. You want to create sales messaging that calls your ideal customer to the change they already believe in, they already want. You want to create a homepage that makes your customer the hero of the story, not your product or solution. And a breakthrough sales stack is really a sales deck that is more of a choose your own adventure, a 3-part, a 3-section sales deck that allows you to have the conversations that you need to in order to advance the sale. A sales deck shouldn't be a repeat of what's on your website. That's what your website's for. And I'm sure if I asked here, how many people here have slides in your deck where it's a repeat of the information you have on your website, you probably will say, yes, that's me. Raise your hand if you're honest. So the purpose of a sales deck or sales presentation has changed. It's no longer information. It really is an opportunity to collaborate. And that's why a choose your own adventure 3-part is the way to go. So if you look at your presentation, the old way is like a 20+ slide deck that has page numbers. And if it has page numbers, by the way, I can tell you it's not a presentation. It's a document or proposal. If it has white backgrounds, I can tell you it's not a presentation. What is that? That's also a document designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore because you think people are actually printing your presentation. Or you're having a presentation with 1 slide and 8 bullets on it, which, by the way, is not a presentation. That is a set of speaker's notes that you're shoving in people's faces as you're actually trying to talk through things. That's not a presentation. A real presentation is a choose your own adventure. It's a visual discussion guide. It allows you to collaborate, have the right conversations. And perhaps it's only 8 slides with 1 message on each slide, because each slide is a conversation or a message. Very, very important. So you want to design conversations. You don't want to design slides. So if you're going to be building your sales stack out for 2020, I would say start with a whiteboard and say, what are the conversations that we need to be having in our sales process? And start designing those. You don't want to be telling people anything in your sales deck. You actually want to have more questions on your slides than answers. I would say, like Kevin Kelly says, answers are cheap. They are cheap. In fact, I can pick up my phone right now and get any answers to any question I ask Google. So answers are cheap and in the gazillions. What is expensive? What is rare? Rare is asking the right question in the right way at the right time to the right people. That creates an action, that creates a pause, creates an opening, that actually gets your sale to a place that it could have never gone without asking that question. So any salesperson who's on this call, type it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about, because you'll know in sales, you only actually make sales when you ask the right questions. So if you have a sales deck that is full of information, that is not going to help your sales in 2020. In fact, that will be your biggest sales detriment. So type in the comments, I know what you're talking about, if you've been in sales and you're selling. So you want to turn your presentation into a collaboration. This is part of the use of a secret weapon you want to use. These are what we have determined to be the 12 essential conversations that every change requires. I say change because, if you're in selling, you're selling anything. What are you really doing? You're influencing change from where your customers currently are to this evolved place that they want to go. So if you consider, just listen to Gong's 50 million conversations, or look what the AI is showing from the patterns. They're having conversations from demos to sales decks. They're having different conversations, and the nature of those conversations fall into these 12 categories. Conversations about goals, conversations about the current state, conversations on how the world has changed and how those have impacted. The ability to stay status quo. You can't stay status quo anymore. You have to change. COVID was a big accelerant for changing the status quo. In fact, that poll I put on LinkedIn, I couldn't believe what I saw. Let me just put this up here if you haven't seen this already. Here, this is a poll. Has COVID and all of its impact accelerated human progress? I'm blown away to see the 48% say yes, definitely. So if you were to say, 2 years ago, hey guys, I know how to accelerate human progress on planet Earth. You're not going to like it, but it's actually going to accelerate human progress. It's going to be a pandemic. I mean, wow, that's a tough pill to swallow. But I didn't create this poll. I mean, I created the poll, but the 48% was the big shocker. If you're shocked by this, type in the comments, I'm shocked by that too. That was such a shocking answer to the poll. All right, so sorry, I digress. I was shocked by that. So the old way of your company is talking about your company and your solution and what you're offering as the hero of the story. And that doesn't work anymore because nobody cares, sadly. No, it's not a knock, but nobody cares about you or your company or your product or your fancy pants, whatever. I'm sorry to break the news to you. People care about what? Type in the comments. What do people care about? What do they really care about? Type in the comments. Come on. What do your customers really care about? Solving their problems. Absolutely, Greg Heaps. Thank you. That's what they care about, solving their problems. Yes. So your position, your role, the voice that you're using as you're typing your copy for your homepage, as you're typing your words for your sales presentation, your voice should be the helper of the hero, not the hero of the story. Does that make sense? Type in the comments, makes sense, if that makes sense. This is a perspective shift. And so many, you think like, oh, I know this already. Oh, I know this already. You don't know this already. Because if I go to your website right now, I can promise you, I will find copy on your site that is in the voice of you as the hero, your solution as the heroic entity that has come to save the day. But that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't resonate with your customers that really want to see you as the trusted advisor in their heroic story, transforming how they're doing things today to how they need to be doing things in order for them to survive. All right. So the old way you're marketing the old way is to use jargon and to use buzzwords. Jargon and buzzwords like this one. Software platform that drives transparent, data-driven decisions. I feel like, upchuck it. Okay. It just jargon and buzzwords. They do nothing for sales. But that was like the thing. That's what we did as marketers. I say we. I will not raise my, okay, I have to raise my hand. Maybe I did some of that a gazillion years ago. But the new way of marketing is to use visuals and verbs, telling a story of how great your customer can be. And how much they deserve a better way, and how much they deserve not to be living with their status quo. And it's empathizing with their current state and encouraging them as a coach, as an advisor, to make this transformation. So your homepage, and the old way, it's about us, a brochure of how great we are. The new way is about them and about their transformation story. Okay, you can go to any website, including your own, and right away you can see, is this website that we have today, is it about us or is it about our customers? And be honest, all right? And you'll see very quickly what it is. And this is something Christopher Voss, who wrote the book Never Split the Difference, ex-FBI hostage negotiator, by the way, says that this tactical empathy is really important to get in a sales process as well, and in marketing, that your marketing should empathize with your ideal customer to the point that as they're reading the copy, they're thinking to themselves, that's right, these people get us. This makes sense to me. I understand this. And your sales presentation should do the same thing. You should be leading with a conversation. The old way is you're leading with a conversation about your thing. The old way, I got some CEOs that just say to their salespeople, oh, just show them the product. The more we can demo, the more we sell. And that's not true. It just doesn't work. It's the more you can help customers understand what are the top 2 or 3 things that your software does, and that how those things are going to transform and make your customer's life better. That's what sells, not just showing the 101 bells and whistles that the software has or whatever the solution looks like. So you lead with a conversation about their problem, which is a much more powerful way. So I just described these 5, I would say, indicators, these 5 qualities of a breakthrough sales stack, where it's but your homepage, your sales deck, and the story, all three of them are aligned, where it's sales messaging that calls your customer to the change they want, a homepage that makes them the hero, and a choose your own adventure. I don't have to show you these 19 slides. I just want to show you one slide because this is the conversation I want to be having with you. That's much more important, much more powerful to have. All right. So if that makes sense, type in the comment makes sense. And I'm going to see if we have, here's a fun question. Where did the word slides come from? Where did the word slides come from? And I wonder, does the polling work? Because I know we had a problem. Yeah, it looks like it's working now. I'm old enough to know the truth behind this question. Where did the word slides come from? Did it come from a microfiche viewer usage? Did it come from Kodachrome carousel? Did it come from PowerPoint? Are they the originator of the term slides? All right, I'm going to share the results in just a second. Ooh, shocking results. Shocking. So check it out. The truth is, anyone who voted for Kodachrome carousel, you guys are correct. It is the Kodachrome carousel that is these little cardboard envelopes that held a piece of film that slid into a projector and projected onto the wall. So I'm old enough to know that shit, but it's not a microfiche viewer. That's not where slides came from. And it's not PowerPoint. They did not invent slides. Yet you ask any 20-something-year-old, they know what a slide is. It's a picture. It's a screen. And, we talked about presentations, and presentations slides really should not be information. They should be almost like a visual to help you have a conversation. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. This is a before. So this is a typical website like AI, human interaction, innovation and excellence, blah, blah, bullshit. Nobody cares. Look at this picture of the brain with like a computer chip. Like this kind of imagery is used so much. No, it's like, what is that? Like people don't care about that, right? So check out the after. Much more powerful. So you didn't even know what they did before, like an idea, like what is that? But now you do. You can even look at the logo, IPMD. You have a picture of a heart, and it's inside like this recognition. So they're selling software. It's a telemedicine platform that really empowers doctors to understand through the use of AI what the emotional state is of their patients. This is some really breakthrough stuff. That the result of it is to give doctors superpowers, all right, that doctors do not have today in a post-COVID pandemic world, whatever, where doctors are meeting patients with telemedicine. They are devoid of the emotional connection with people that are suffering from anxiety and depression. And so this is some really powerful stuff. So I'm going to just go to the before. Does this image of something that's enamored with the technology, in love with itself, communicate the power of what it does? Or does this, right? It's so clear to me, the after, why this does. And I'm sure it's clear to you as well. But it is the trap. It is the trap of all of us. When we build a product, we build a better mousetrap. We're just so in love with it. We want to promote it instead of what the thing does. All right, if that makes sense, type in the comments make sense or give me an emoji of some kind. Thank you, Andy, Greg Heaps. Thank you, Kevin Mullinex. Thank you, D. Crossan, Denise, Thomas, Groovy. Thank you, D. Crossan. Thank you, guys. I'm going to be taking you guys off of mute in just a couple minutes here. I want to ask you, like here we are, Christmas is around the corner. And I want to ask you, what is the one thing that you're going to adopt to fix in your sales stack so that you can really crush 2022 and get your sales stack ready? So the fourth part is to sharpen your story. So anything that you're writing on your homepage, anytime you're talking to your customer, you really should be involving yourself in your customer story as the guide, as the Rafiki, as the Yoda, as the Mary Poppins. Even though the movie was called Mary Poppins, she is actually not the hero of that story. She is the guide. And so, Donald Miller talks a lot about this in building a story brand. Great concept, great framework for telling a story. Very hard to actually implement well. But when you can do it well, you'll find that everything you're writing around your business, your marketing, you're doing is really positioning yourself right and resonating with your customers, aligning your team. So this is the typical story brand. If you read this book, involving yourself in the story of your customers' change. The archetype is world changes, something changes or happens, causes a problem, or something becomes intolerable as a result in this impact to the hero in the story. Along comes a guide, an Obi-Wan or Yoda, whatever, that says, this is what you have to do to defuse the bomb or to get the girl or whatever. And there's a transformation that takes place and leads the hero to success. And so I just described here like the classic storytelling framework, and this really applies to business. Everyone talks about story in business, how important it is, but so many businesses are telling the wrong story. They're not really positioning themselves as the guide. You need to do that in everything that you're writing and building. So you can see here, this is a poll I put up on LinkedIn. What's more important for your homepage and actually getting customers? It is the messaging, the story, more important than design. Design's important, messaging is more important, because you're dealing with the three villains in your story: commoditization, competition, and distraction. I think the biggest villain is distraction. The villain to your story of crushing 2022, you're the hero of that story. The villain is your customers are busy. They don't have time to deal with your deciphering what it is that you're talking about. They just want, all they can think about is their goals and their problems. And if you can cut through that noise by writing your copy that empathizes with their problem. Because the best product doesn't win, it is the clearest story that does. And Donald Miller says that, and I completely agree. Here is the 10 elements of a highly effective, highly converting homepage. Real quick. So if you're going to fix your homepage up by Christmas, you want to start with the aspiration, what they want. You need to empathize with their problem, show your credibility, describe what your solution looks like, how it works, some social proof. What's the plan? 3 or 4 steps. Do they subscribe? Do they buy now? No one wants to like learn more or click here. They want to know exactly what the plan is. If they click this button, what's going to happen? Maybe they're not ready to talk to you, but they are willing to download like the top 5 tips of how you're going to overcome whatever. Those are lead generators. Definitely want to have that on your homepage if they're not ready to buy or to start the buying process. Contact form and chat. These are all on every one of the most highly converting homepages. I would say this is really what your breakthrough sales stack needs to have on your homepage. If your homepage doesn't have one of these elements, you need to add them. So real quick, Jordan Duval, he, by the way, is the CEO of ReadyWorks Health. And before, like that logo, it was their old logo. Customers were confused. Like, what are you selling? There's a gear. Are you selling cars? What is this? It was, revenue is critical, but they were not meeting their numbers. The after effect is customers were actually showing up, prospects asking the right questions, and he was getting a lot faster deals. And this is that patience before paper story I mentioned before. This is so clear and so good. The logo is better. People get that it's about health. It's about, the check marks, making sure the equipment is working correctly so babies can be born healthy. Really, it's just clear. The visuals are clear. The copywriting is clear. And notice the button isn't just learn more or get a demo. The button says, get your paper impact assessment. So that's something your customers want. They don't want a demo of your software. That's really from your perspective. Your buttons say, get a demo. That's copy written from you're the hero of the story because your solution's the best. But if they're the hero of the story, the button says, get your paper impact assessment, because that's the first step the hero needs to make on their journey, is to find out how bad their current state is. If that makes sense to you, this is huge, by the way, to change what says on your buttons. Type in the comments, makes sense. If that makes sense, let's just see. Let me get a hell yes, if that makes sense to you. Yeah, so you get rid of the learn more, get a demo, because that's like, nobody's clicking learn more. Nobody's clicking get a demo. Thank you, Andy. Get your paper impact assessment. Oh, hell yes. All right, so we showed that. So invest in expert help. So clearly you may have some people you can hire or a person you can hire, or a team or an agency you can hire. But I would say make sure the people that you're hiring, that they aren't just a marketing agency where they've done a lot of years of marketing. Because in my book, marketing means promotion. It means making a bigger sign, a louder noise, basically spending a lot of your money that doesn't result in sales. So I would say that the story that you're telling is your business. The narrative really is around your most competitive distinction. It's your strategic narrative. It's not just creating a fancy, clever, cute way of saying what you do. It's actually getting down to the core problem that you're solving. So I would say, hire a sales enabler, not a marketer. All right. Also, when you hire an outsider to help you with this, and all the CEOs that I know that have combined these recipe, they have the process of outsider allows the whole team to align in a way that an insider can't, because it's typically a lot of politics around who has the best point of view. When you have an outsider do it, it's almost like a Switzerland comes in and helps everyone clarify the message. That is the process of alignment. So I'd like to say, don't hire a marketer, hire a sales enabler. By the way, this is the before, this is the after. So this is before, maximizing profitability, starts with a solution. Here it starts with the problem. Fleet costs are too expensive. And you can see on the bottom there, the transformation story for the hero: turn your underutilized equipment into an optimized health system. That's the transformation story right there. And the button there is get your equipment performance snapshot. That's the button, not learn more. All right, so let me just fast forward here in the interest of time. Let's wrap this up. You guys have a choice. You can keep using what you have. You can make these changes now. And I really hope that you make these changes now because your 2022 goals are resting on you being able to make these changes. So with that, I'd like to invite anyone you'd like to come off of mute right now and share with me and the group any comments you have or questions, or share what's the one thing you want to get done by Christmas to fix in your sales deck or on your homepage or in your story, in your copywriting, that's going to help you get sales enabled for 2022. Who would like to jump out? Come on.
Greg, it's Andy. We're working on a 3 or 4 word rebellion.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. What do you got? Do you have any candidates?
Right now, deep thoughts from a shallow mind, but is about all I have. But
deep thoughts from a shallow mind.
I would say own your impact, because the waste that our customers generate, their biohazardous waste, impacts the world in a bunch of different ways, right? So
I really like that, Andy. I really like it. Own your impact, because it's like that's good, because if I understand what you're selling, and for the folks who don't know what you're selling a breakthrough sterilization product for ERs and hospitals, right?
Right, for regulated medical waste, sharps containers, red bag biohazardous waste.
And
that otherwise is incinerated or winds up in a landfill.
So how does own your impact, why does that feel right to you? It feels right to me too. So why does that feel right to you?
Because it gives our customers an opportunity to give themselves permission to make a change.
That's great. I really like that. Really do.
Then I don't know if it's specific enough based upon something else you said earlier in the conversation.
Yeah, it's own your impact could be related to automotive, or it could be related to any kind of sustainability message versus hazardous waste in hospitals in particular. So agreed. No, but that's cool that you're working on that. So if you have a hashtag like that, I think that could become almost like the platform for your pitch, or platform for any conversation you have or your salespeople have. Great.
Or another alternative might be get real about green.
Get real about green. I like it because it's cute and it's clever, but is it clear is my question. Maybe not so much. Yeah. So I think Donald Miller says this really good. The most important thing is that the message is clear versus cute or clever or sexy. But awesome work, and Andy, I really appreciate you showing up to these master classes. So thank you.
I love them. They're great. I get something different out of each of them.
Oh, great. Thank you.